It's the all-new episode of the Blathering, the show that Ken Napzok does in a beanie, even though it's hot. And he's left his fan on, and you might hear fan sound. What are you going to do, everybody? Hi, it's me. This is a podcast first. Some of you might be watching on YouTube, and I think you're wonderful. If you are watching on YouTube, hey, subscribe to the channel. If I ever get some time off from this other job I'm working and the other things I do, we're going to ramp back up here on the YouTube side. I had a whole series of shorts ideas and weekly segments, and I was raring up to go, and then I got a job. And, it's fun working for a little YouTube channel, doing some developing stuff. Don't even have to go in the office. It's great. It's wonderful. And I needed it. But, I look at some of the things. I was especially going to move SNN to YouTube. Kind of. Sort of. Some of the segments. And we're going to get to it. Anyways, all I'm saying is subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Super chat. Super thanks. Watch the game streams on Wednesday. Support a young boy's dream of not failing for one more year. That's my career in a nutshell. How long can I go before we have to pack it in? And sometimes it's the night before. And we get an extension on failure. That's what we do around here. And, some might say, well, Ken, maybe you should start looking at it in a more positive light. And, how many more days till you're a worldwide success? Sure. Is that as fun? Believe it in yourself? Is that as fun as waking up every day going, today might be it? The day we finally fail for good. I think that's more fun. I'm not in an actually down mood. I'm actually in a good mood. Maybe that's why I'm being silly. It is getting hot, and I'm doing... You could probably hear my laptop fan more than you hear that fan up there that I'm staring at with just scorn in my eyes. But it finally turned. The heat finally arrived to the San Fernando Valley. It hasn't been... It's been a cold year, really cold year, and then suddenly we had like 4 or 5 of the hottest days in recorded history. Someone should look into that. But I was enjoying the cold weather. Kept the spiders away a little longer, and the spiders came back. In fact, we had to spray the company that comes out once a quarter to spray our house. It's to murder these poor innocent spiders that Grace doesn't want to see. And it's okay. Well, last night I have over the years gotten less and less. I was never afraid of spiders. Off-put. I don't want to hang out with a spider. Don't like black widows. We get a lot of the brown widows. Don't want to run into a brown recluse. Tarantulas. I'm good. We're all good here. Shelob, nope. Eat your orcs. I'll leave you be. But I've never been afraid of them. But I've gotten better at it. Because I've had to take on the job of spider keeper in the house. Grace, she's not here to defend herself, but she's really, really afraid of spiders. She doesn't like spiders to a at times concerning degree. And we have a very nice little tiny front porch. Like we're talking 3 steps, 4 foot by 4 foot porch that leads to the door. It's not like a recreational porch. But it's got, lattice work. It's got, plants and things growing. She's such a great plant tender. These things are blooming. And it's just like the spiders are like, this is the spot. So sometimes she comes home late from, acting class or dance or ballet. I get a text. Honey, I need you to open the door. Speeder is out there, what she calls spiders. And so I got there, and last night... It wasn't a huge spider. It's going to get big, though. And, well, actually, no, it's not. The spray guys came today. And I witnessed the spider have its last meal. And that's what's off-putting. The webs are beautiful. If I see a spider and it's putting together its web, and I know I'm not going to walk through it, and the spider's up at the black widows are on the ground level. That's why they're the a-holes, The brown widows like to hang out there. The brown widows can go in the trees. Trust me, I know from this house. But, if a spider's up there doing its thing, and I'm not going to run into it, we got no problem. I got no beef. You're doing this beautiful piece of web art. I'm going to let you live. I'm going to let you do your thing. But last night, and I did the spider, I let it enjoy its final hours. I knew the spray guys were coming today. And I don't know the lifespan of spiders anyways. Weeks, days, months. hours, I don't know. And this thing had like a little Frodo wrapped up. It had a little Frodo wrapped up. Not an actual hobbit, but it had like some kind of moth or a bug or something that had probably was still alive. Oh, I don't like thinking about this, but I watched it. It had done the Frodo thing with Shelob. It had wrapped this moth up. Moth was probably saying a prayer to whatever it believed in to get it out of here, and it was not. So Grace and I both decided that maybe the front porch wasn't the best way to get to the front door to come to the house. So we actually opened up the garage door and smuggled in Grace the other way. But the spiders are coming today. The spiders were dying today because the pest folks showed up today, and that's not why I'm in a good mood. 6 minutes in the show, and this asshole's only talked about spiders. What happened to Ken Napzok? He used to go on Schmo's nose with the extra S for whatever reason. People used to always have that. He used to make fun of things. Now he's talking about spiders, and he's not even being funny about it. It's my life. And this is where I'm at. But I'm in a good mood. Didn't do a show last week. We missed a lot of alien talk. And that's one thing we're not going to wait for. I have a break in my schedule. We are going to do Blathering, the Mysteries Unexplained edition. Because everywhere I go now, people are talking about these aliens. And more stuff has come out. I actually watched some of the hearings. I got to tell you something. It didn't change my opinion on what's been going on, but it's reached high levels. New York Times was talking about it in like a podcast. Like, what's with the upswing and all these weird UFO stories? I don't know. I want to find out with all of you. I ran into, when I say ran into, that's weird. I didn't run into. I haven't seen him physically in a couple years. Our old pal JT was texting. He was inviting me to come on a show to talk about Dial of Destiny, a movie I love with all my heart. And it hurts me that people don't like the movie. I don't care if you have legit reasons or not. I don't care. I care for your heart. Can you not feel? Can't art make you feel anything? So many of you are in your head about movies like that. I can't get through to you. Every one of your questions and critiques about these movies has to do with weird things you thought you learned in a screenwriting class, or why that kid fly that plane, or it's all dumb stuff. Ask yourself this: what did the movie make me feel? And if you didn't feel anything, that's a problem. Anyways, JT was like, hey, man, it's been a while. You want to come on my show to talk about Dial of Destiny? I would have. I don't love talking movies on the internet, but I miss that guy. And I said, no, I can't. I said, I started to say, you probably don't want me on. I'm a bit of an a-hole when it comes to people in our business. He goes, no, I listen. And I was, oh, man, I'm so sorry. You have to hear me kind of go woke these days. And he's, he goes, sure, I listen for the alien talk. So, JT, if you're listening, I'm convinced you are the alien, because your life has been this wonderful existence as yourself in a way that people almost don't believe. So it's like you're an alien. And I can't wait to have you on Mysteries Unexplained to talk about aliens that you haven't seen. That's the thing. He claims he hasn't seen aliens. And that makes me suspicious, because everyone's claiming they got a story these days. We missed last week, 4th of July. I don't love 4th of July as a holiday to celebrate. I do love it as a historical day, event. It has a great importance to the world. A lot changed in the world at that time and beyond. I will say this as clear as day, but people will always overlook it or forget it. I actually really love this country. I really love this country. And home of the brave and free, and I want it to be that for everyone. And when you actively have politicians working against that, you actively have big church religious leaders working against that, you don't have the land of the free. You don't have the home of the brave. And but that aside, look what's going on in Paris. Here we are again, France. Real tumultuous situation going on over there. You have a police shooting that sparked some protests, which turned into riots. And I'll say the same thing for theirs. I'll say for anything here. Once it gets to that level, 10, 20% of the people involved at most were there for the original cause. I think the rest are just people jumping on. the bandwagon, the very on fire bandwagon. But you look at, I was looking at the story, forget, in France, protests and riots and revolutions it's just in their DNA. It's what they like doing. It's fun. It's a hobby. But when you look at the issues, what's going on, what people of color in France, particularly those from North Africa, have been facing over there, the same things that kind of, you feel might be exclusive to America are not necessarily the case. So all that to say, the idea of living in Paris is something that's intriguing to us in this house. The idea of maybe me living in London one day is something that's intriguing to me. I don't think it's something that's on the plans, but I don't have rose-colored glasses to the rest of the world versus here. I like this country. More important, I like Los Angeles. I like Burbank. I like it here, and I just think part of my malaise towards 4th of July holiday is based around the idea of can't we do better? I think we could do better. And I'm not just talking about the last 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, the last 200 years or so. I think we could do a little better. We're almost there. And we're still young. This is still an experiment phase. And that's why I like to talk to folks who understand that and are willing to get behind that idea of it's still going. Progress, change, move forward. I saw something the other day of the root of the word conservative is to conserve, to keep the same, to in my mind, hold back any kind of progress because we like what we got, and it's okay to like what you got. In fact, that's one thing I might talk about today about just life. Liking what you have, being connected to where you are in life. But as a people, as a society, you always want to look to the next step. You always want to look to the next generations. And I think you can do both. I think you can celebrate America, whatever that is, but you cannot deny the pain, the torment, the misguided, manifest destiny of it all that has led us here. You can't destroy the past. You must let it build you for a better future. And so I have landed in a cynical spot over the celebration of the 4th of July, but not the context and not the history and not this country. If you got an American flag in front of your house on 4th of July, I think that's great. If you have one year round, I don't have a problem with it. It does make me question you a little bit. And that's just me being honest. We got a neighbor across. He does and he did it for 4th of July, but that made sense. Every once in a while, you'll come out of the house to throw something in the trash, and you'll hear some heavy metal. I don't love heavy metal, but I know it's got its fans and it's got its place. So no shade against heavy metal. But you come out and there's just some horrendous heavy metal, not like Metallica Grammy-winning metal. Like the stuff that played, they would play like bars in Santa Clarita or something. And that's a local reference, by the way. And along with it, he unfurls a flag that I don't even know how his house supports it. It's so big. And you could tell he's he's the neighbor on the block that we are all concerned with. Comes out, he lives by himself. I think it was his father's house. His father's is clearly passed away. I haven't seen him for about a year. And in the last year, this guy's behavior went from that guy he's kind of a loud but affable neighbor. You hear him just talking to any passerby, or he would work out in his front lawn at the start of the pandemic. He's a built guy. And you'd see him out there just with bands and dumbbells in the front lawn, just talking to folks. How's your Tuesday? And I like being affable, but that's a fuck nut. And you got to slow it down, man. And he went from that to on the phone yelling about beta cuck males and ain't no man on the street and I'm the only man around here. And he's just yelling on the phone. I'll kick your ass. Come say that to my face on a phone call. Whole neighborhood's hearing him. It's like 8 o'clock. And then 2 days later, the heavy metal would play. The windows and front door would be open in his house. And then the flag comes out. It's always in conjunction. Occasionally you'll hear some metal, no flag. The flag might stay up to the next day with no metal. But it always culminates or starts with and the flag flapping in the wind. That's where I started having problems with the flag. You want to love this country, be a patriot, it doesn't need to be a sticker on your car, right? That's where I'm at with it. But the other thing about the 4th of July is it's one of my things that I realize is a truth for a lot of things. Things that begin one way over time become something else. The meaning becomes something else. Occasionally, it devolves into something else. I have problems with the term gaslighting being used a lot as a therapy term or an accusation. I think gaslight as a term is misused, but also I have to acknowledge it's what it is now to those people. It's what their understanding how they use it. So I totally get it. Totally get it. But for me, that is Independence Day, 4th of July, hoorah, celebrating this country, American exceptionalism, which is a lie. And I think it's that's where it's kind of landed to now it's this big, giant, desperate and pathetic desire for some sort of heritage from a group. And the other people, it's just, an excuse to launch fireworks, which I went from, I enjoy a good firework display. If I'm at Disneyland, the fireworks are going, I'm stopping. I've been in my car at Disneyland and turned around and, nope, we're going to park right here and watch the fireworks. Probably this might be connected to positive memories of being a kid. My grandparents lived inside a mile away from Disneyland. So every time we were visiting them at 9 o'clock, fireworks would go off. And when we go to the second floor of the house, we get to watch it. I think positive memories are associated with fireworks shows. I do love watching fireworks shows go wrong. That's as long as no one dies. There's a video going around of some a-holes launching some fireworks in the front yard, family, kids, 2-year-olds, everyone in the front. You all probably saw it. And then it doesn't it doesn't explode, which happens a lot. And then all of a sudden, it shoots into the bucket of fireworks they got underneath the car. It just explodes everywhere. There's little 2-year-olds are being whisked away to safety. One kid, about 7, 8, 9, is just staring at like a dunce. They have to pull him inside. And then the car catches on fire. And I don't know. I got to be honest. I didn't click the follow-up. I don't know if anyone got hurt or died. I don't think they did. But I was laughing because that's what you get. Let the professionals, and they'll mess up, but let the professionals handle the fireworks. And I think that's why a lot of us have a malaise towards the 4th of July holiday now. It is like those rioters. A protest happens, a real issue, takes to the streets, it escalates, maybe it starts to become riotous, and then you have 80% of people going, yes, let's do this, it's my chance to get a TV, I'd love to throw a brick through a police car window, or love to set a building on fire. And they have nothing to do with the cause, right? And that's life, you got to deal with it. And so, as with protests, so it is with 4th of July. The other thing, and this is the bottom of the barrel of the list, is I have come to the conclusion that I despise picnics. Now, if you like picnics, I'm going to try to say, keep your joy over picnics. Enjoy picnics. I don't like packing up food, going to a place where it's hard to eat the food. And well, Ken, find a picnic table. That's why they have picnic tables. There's nothing easy about that. A light breeze, your napkins are flying everywhere. There's ants, there's bugs, there's strangers in a park. Parks attract a lot of strangers. And I'm not talking about the residentially challenged. A lot of strangers flock to parks. You know it, I know it, the American people know it. And you want to go there, and then you're cooking, and it's hot. 4th of July is a hot holiday. You're sweating into your food. I like to sweat after I eat 7 tacos and a quesadilla. I'll sweat my food out. I don't want to sweat before or during my food. And the final thing about picnics, and I could go on, but I think I'm trying to talk about something with a little bit of poignance. My comfort level and my enjoyment for the social situations is based, I have to admit it, solely on my access to a good quality bathroom. And I'll go down to a C+ if I gotta. Women, it's a little different. I get it. If you're sitting down in that cockpit it's a little, no pun intended on that word. It's more difficult. Totally get it. If you got to sit all the time, even if you hover, it's the problem. And that's the picnics too. Name me a park that you want to shit in. Name me a park that you go there thinking, well, if that happens, I'm in good hands. Few and far between. There was a rest stop in Tennessee. As you get into Tennessee on the 40 freeway, there's a rest stop and like music museum. Elvis, not just Elvis, but the rich Nashville, Memphis, Tennessee history of music. It's all in this rest stop. And I remember thinking I could move there, and the bathrooms are that good, right? They're on the 10 freeway, coming out of Arizona or going into Arizona. There's what they say on the billboard. It's this large gas station with 40 or more pumps. Big, giant kind of convenience store, like giant, almost warehouse size. And the big sign says, and you've heard Josh McCouga and Mark Ellis and I talk about this, but the sign says, cleanest bathrooms in the world or something like that. And they're not lying. I went in there to do some road business, and someone was mopping in there as I walked in. And I was like, you guys are not lying. He's like, no, sir. And there's not a community around. People get a job there, and they travel there to take this job, which means they have pride in cleaning those shitters. That's a spot. Tennessee restaurant. Name me a picnic at a park where you've thought as you've taken a bite into that burger cooked, grilled on a public grill that no amount of cleaning can guarantee that whatever's there is not there, is no longer there. As you're taking that bite, you got to be thinking, but I can't do it here. This ride is short. We got to go home soon. Like that. That's so. Combine all that. Public restrooms, picnics, a lot of people in shorts and flip-flops. Flip-flops, whatever you want to call them. When I was a kid, we called them thongs, which later had some different meaning to me as I giggled in 7th grade. But flip-flops, sandals. I do own a pair of sandals. I used to wear sandals regularly. And then one day I looked myself in the mirror and went, who are we? Why? We're not this human. I don't care if you're right now, if you're listening to me in the South, where the humidity and the heat and the 4-foot bugs are slapping you in the face, if you wear sandals, you're part of the problem. I'm sweating today. I got this beanie on. Fine, that's a choice. But I'm in jeans right now, socks, and shoes. All right? Eventually I'll take them off. I'll put on some comfy pants, walk around with some slippers. Slippies, different than flip-flops. And when you start showing up to a 4th of July party in your shorts and your flimsy T-shirt and some real dumb hat with some ironic American flag configuration on it and your flip-flops, I loathe you. I loathe you. I don't care if you're a good friend of mine. If Mark Ellis and Josh McCouga, I don't want them on this show, but if they were to come on right now, I have yelled at both of them for wearing jeans and sandals. It's not just a fashion mistake. It is a sin of the soul. I don't care how hot it is. All right? I'm not telling you to put on a suit to fly an airplane or go to a baseball game. I grew up in a church in which the pastor did not allow ties. It was like, we're not doing that. It came out of the 70s, early 70s hippie Jesus movement. I don't need it to be formal. I just need you to not go in public with sandals or flip-flops. It's a hard line I have. And that's 4th of July. Bathroom, sweaty food, sweaty you, some idiot in shorts that are not right for him or them or her, and sandals, flip-flops. Oh, you guys want another beer? Got one in the chest. It's the worst sound in the world. Firework displays that aren't professional, that your life is at risk. And then, instead of reflecting on our country's history and what got us here, you're just chugging a beer and yelling, America, I have a problem with it. So there, I got that off my chest. I love the country. Absolutely love the country. Is it the best country in the world? Here's the thing. We don't need to be the best country in the world. Part of America's problem, part of our society's problem, is everything is a competition in which we think the only important thing is to win instead of learn and grow together in the competition. We don't need to be the best. We just need to be better. A better version of ourselves each and every day. That's what this country needs to focus on. That's what we all need to focus on. I'm going to take a quick break. And I actually have, I was like, I'm going to talk about something that I mulling over, thinking about, and we're going to do it on the Blathering, and maybe it'll help someone, and maybe people have answers, and it's not about aliens. Stick around to the Blathering here on the Blathering Network. It's not that, it's the Napzok Network. Oh, yeah, okay. Here we are. We're back. So I've had a busy stretch of time, and it's not all been work. It's been in cool things. It's been in getting to go things, getting to go things. It's been getting to accomplish things or to, get better, be better. I had a great stand-up show recently, Jake Lewis and Friends show. I had a great set. Loved it. Felt so great. I have tape of it. I thought of sharing it with folks on the Patreon page. But Flappers, I love it. It's the club I go to the most in LA. But every time they get you a tape, you can't hear the audience. And so no matter, it was a great set. I had a great set. And, it sounds like no one was even in the audience watching, which isn't true. I got to do that. I got to celebrate my friend Mark Ellis's birthday. But more importantly, the pre-release and the release eventually here of his next comedy special, which I really watched him work so hard to make that happen. He does it independently, and I'm proud of him and proud of the effort and proud of the result. And I got to do that and all those kind of things. I have post car accident. I got a newer vehicle on the way that I am blessed to get a hold of. Just like this, the 2002 Mustang I've driven, I was blessed to be essentially given that car, bought it for $1 from my good friend Paul, and that was a blessing post losing the Camry in 2020 to an accident. And the Mustang is still, I'm driving around, by the way, I look like one of those people, I know, because I do this too, so it's okay to judge me. I'm driving around with a car with massive front end damage. I don't even know if the other headlight works. I drove home the other night, and I was like, I can't confirm that my right headlight is working. I don't even know if it's present. I haven't been pulled over yet, but I'm driving with a lot of confidence for this. I shouldn't do them. I can turn to the right, cover girl. I can turn to the right, no problem. Turn to the left. I have to go wide, and the car makes a horrible screeching sound because the tire is hitting the damaged parts of the car that are hanging low to the ground now. So, I'm that guy. And I'm that guy, you look at it, in my hometown area, there's a city called Grover Beach. And I've talked about this before, I know, but like the city bird, if there was a city bird, like the state bird or the national bird, which is what, Sam the Eagle from the Muppets, the city bird for Grover Beach is a grizzled guy with a cigarette on a bicycle, right? And he's probably 31, and he looks 70. But in Grover Beach, that part of town, a lot of people driving cars with front-end damage or just damage to cars. And I've judged every one of them, right? My whole life I've been like, fix your shit, man. Well, here I am. Car accident happened first weekend of June. It's drivable. Insurance won't cover the rental car until my car goes into the shop for repairs. Awesome. Get the car appraised, thinking it's going to be totaled. They're like, nah, we'll repair it. You seem like you could use the win. We'll repair the car. And I'm like, I am one day away from failure every day. But they can't get me into like almost August. So I've been driving around for what will be 2 months in a car that has massive amounts of front-end damage. And I think it's a bit of karma. What's that? What? This is like in a year from now, I'm going to tell you about a great picnic I attended, and then I'll be like, oh, that's right, I did talk bad about picnics. I should learn a lesson here. Well, I'm driving around in this crappy car. Anyways, I am getting a hold of another car in a very blessed manner. So all this to say, I wake up every morning, and I like where I am. I go to bed at night and think, I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, I'm too bald, I'm too unsuccessful, and I really don't know if I want to get up and do it all again, right? That's every day. It's every day for me. But I wake up, and by the way, Frances, our younger Chihuahua, same thing. Every day she wakes up, tail wagging, the happiest, we call it Franny Day. Oh, I get another Franny Day. End of the night, she's growling and she's nipping at you, right? And I understand, Franny. I think that's me. And I end every night just going, what did we do today? But I wake up happy. And a lot of things are in my control. I can control a little bit of my, I don't want to say destiny, but I can control a little bit of my path, right? If I roll up my sleeves and work hard on some things, great. If I find the time to do some more things on the YouTube channel here like I want to, then the success will find me. I'm putting a lot more energy, a lot more consistent energy, at least, in ASMR videos. I can't right now release more than one a week, but I've seen a lot of growth in that channel. A lot of growth. As I hope to I just need to get 1,000 subs and about 2,000 more hours watched, and we're there. But YouTube has lowered some of the standards for the other parts of partnership, and I'm working hard on that. Stand up. I want to do more, but it's on me to do more, right? I did try to get booked at 2 other clubs locally, 2 other locations. Haven't heard back. That's wonderful. Anyways, all this to say, I got to go. I want to shout out my pal Adam Witt. A lot of you know Adam Witt and Paul Preston from the Movie Guys. They were one of the bright spots, I thought, in the movie trivia schmodown, especially in an era where I didn't enjoy being there as much, and a lot of us didn't enjoy being there as much. Adam and Paul brought a great fun, a positive energy to it, and I loved their involvement in it. And Adam and Paul, both great guys, and been through a lot in life, and they still come out of it with the best outlook I think you can find. And Adam was... I didn't even know what was on his heart, but he done some work at the Hollywood Bowl and was able to procure some tickets, but he did pay for them. I don't want to embarrass him, but he paid for them, and he gifted them to me, Grace, and a couple friends. And I had a great time because it's John Williams at the Hollywood Bowl. That's when did I say that? We went and saw John Williams. I've seen John Williams 3 times now at the Hollywood Bowl. I have seen him a few times at Star Wars Celebrations. Saw him at the Indiana Jones premiere not a month ago. So I've been blessed to see John Williams many times. But I'm moved every time I see him. And he's that good. And his songs are that good. And they are tied into the very fabric of the stories and the myths that have moved so many of us, right? And that's part of the fun. And you're going to experience that. And Adam edits a lot of the montage stuff and up on there on the screen, and so they're moving in their own way, right? But yeah, a friend asked me a question. They were saying I think I used to enjoy a lot of things. I used to enjoy being at things. Used to enjoy doing things. Used to enjoy experiencing things, and I just don't seem to derive any joy out of it anymore, and maybe I'm jaded. I don't know. They were saying this in I'm trying to understand kind of way, and we didn't get to talk about it much. Music was blaring, but it stuck with me because I understand it, and it can be as simple as just being present in the moment at something like John Williams at the Hollywood Bowl. And I have the ability to be present in those moments, ability to take them in, ability to appreciate experiencing them, almost to a naive level. I have learned over the years, I can be very unintentionally self-centered. We all as humans can be a little self-centered. We're the stars of our own plays, that I know. But I have a tendency to be unintentionally self-centered, where I forget that maybe other people haven't got the opportunity I have, or other people are feeling low and I'm feeling down, up, and I'm not engaged with what they're feeling. And that manifested in ways where I'm kind of like, oh my God, look at this. I got gifted this, like this computer that I'm broadcasting on was a gift several years ago from a lot of listeners on my birthday. Folks like Bador and Tamor and Dave G helped gather up some funds to get me this computer to stream on at the time because I was laid off from Collider and didn't know what to do with my life, right? And something like that it's so awesome and it's so inspiring to me, and it's so just, overwhelms me in a way of like, am I worthy of this? But this kind of stuff doesn't happen to me. The good things don't happen to me, so I have a tendency to over-emote about it to folks who I at the time did not pick up on the fact that they were like, great, we're so happy for you, jerk, but I don't have that, or you're outshining me, or you're not sharing in the success, or just thought I was a dork about it. And I didn't pick up on it for years. And it's unintentionally self-centered. And it has to do with me. And this is where the change. I've always thought it was me being excited about things in the moment, but no, I think that's a little different. I'm working this out as I talk. I don't know if any of you feel this way, but like I grew up feeling, and I don't want to say it was instilled in me. That's not necessarily fair to my parents. I think if any of it was instilled, it was just the way they chose to live their lives and the way they felt. But I think I have a little bit of it. It's probably in the hard wiring from my father, or just good things didn't seem to happen to us, right? Growing up. Now, mind you, we had a good life. White kid in the suburbs, had a pretty good existence, privileged existence without a doubt. Did not have to fight for my very identity or my survival every day. But you're not thinking about that growing up, right? All I know is that we didn't have a lot of money. We had a good house, but we didn't settle into something for a while. I wasn't the popular kid. The girls I had crushes on, I didn't get. Again, what the hell is that? And who knows, I probably could have, but I thought so lowly of myself. I did not think I had the attention of the girls I liked. Felt I lost out on the girls I liked. I lost out on the things I wanted to do. I lost out on playing on the high school baseball team. I watched other people. I pulled out of drama and speech and all those kind of things that might have improved my skills as an entertainer earlier on. Found myself more as a performer, but I got scared and I didn't do it because I didn't feel good things happen to me. So other people got a little farther, and that affected me. And then moved to LA, and I didn't get to go further into the ground lanes training system to actually join the company. I went very damn farther than thousands and thousands of other people, but I didn't get what I wanted. I was lonely. Moved to LA and didn't know how to get out, talk to the girls I liked, or didn't know how to appreciate who I was to anyone there. And all that to say, when things started to happen for me, and when I say happen, I mean I started to take stock of who I was, find some value in myself, and things started happening. I actually at one point got the attention of one of the women we worked with, who everyone in the company kind of had a thing for, and her and I ended up kind of forming a close relationship and friendship. It didn't end up the way I thought it would then, and actually glad for it, and glad for her. Gone on to be married with 2 kids with the person she was probably meant to be with. But I remember at that time kind of being like, oh, this has never happened before, and this is cool, and aren't people happy for me? And I remember talking to some other people who I didn't really know. They were like coworkers, and I was talking the story about, me and this girl, we're talking, and I can't believe it. Finally, someone likes me. Finally, the hot girl that everyone's interested in. And they were scoffing at me, and I picked up on it hours later, right? Almost like Homer Simpson delayed in that great episode from years and years ago, decades ago. And that was one of the first signs of like, oh, people aren't rooting for me as much as I think they are, because we all got our own stuff. And I am not necessarily being present in the moment for them and for those around me. I am only seeing myself as a sad sack finally getting a chance and finally getting to experience things. And that energy is carried forward in my life, and I'm trying to always work through it. Be blessed and be happy for the things that you have and the privileges you get to enjoy and the moments, the gear, anything comes your way. I want you to enjoy it. But I try harder to be aware of the bigger picture, that other people aren't necessarily always rooting for me. Even these, I'm talking about friends too. I'm not talking about strangers or internet enemies. I'm talking about people that are like, hey, I'm going through something and it's great. You got a bunch of free gifts from your Amazon wish list. Good for you. You're not even asking how I'm feeling, right? And that's where I'm saying I can historically be unintentionally self-centered. And this is leading back to where I was going to. It really is. But I think this question of, it's more than just being present where you're at. But are you jaded? Are you enjoying the things you're going to experience? Are you enjoying the concerts you get to go, or the things you accomplish, or the friends you have? I think it's very easy to be jaded. It's the other side of when I felt I didn't deserve anything. I think it's the other side of not understanding that you've got something in front of you to enjoy. You've got something that you do deserve. And then it's not always going to be like that. And there's a balance in it, especially if you're around other people. And I think I've developed this ability to be less jaded about those kind of things. Now, am I jaded about the YouTube movie space? Yes. Am I jaded about the way people talk about movies? Yes. Am I grumpy? Yes. But I can sit there with tears streaming down my face at a John Williams concert. I can sit there blubbering, holding the tears in at Dial of Destiny, just when Saul is talking. That's the scene, if you've seen the movie, that's the scene that gets me started early on the tears. Going to Rise of Skywalker and saying, yeah, there's some problems in this movie, I get that. But I'm also crying my eyes out because I'm here, I'm present in this moment. I'm getting to enjoy what I'm experiencing. I'm getting to enjoy the fact that I didn't think we'd ever get to see Star Wars movies again, and now we got several on shows. It's amazing. This is when I moved to LA in 1998. The idea of going to the Hollywood Bowl, I didn't think I could. I didn't think I deserved it. I didn't know how. I've said before, I was trapped by fear. That's that tied to the dog thing I've talked about before. So getting to the Hollywood Bowl seems like something so unbelievably fantastic. So the first time I actually went there, I couldn't believe it. It was the opposite of jaded. I was too naive about it. Wasn't present in the moment. But I've since found a way to be present in the things that we experience and present in these moments. I remember watching Beth Orton sing at the Mayan Theater in downtown LA in 2002. With a girl I was we kind of dated for a blip, and her friend who I knew from work and a friend of mine, and no one else cared about this concert or cared about Beth Owen. They just wanted to go because I wanted to go, and they seemed great, and it was awesome. But I remember watching Beth Orton sing one of my favorite songs, and I didn't cry or anything, probably because I was afraid around this girl, but I just remember thinking, I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life. I'm going to remember this moment. I've got to be here for it. And I think that's the energy you have to find. You have to know you deserve it. You have to not be naive about how you get there. Don't have any fear. Know that this all can change. And know that if you're on stage, if that's what you want to do, and you're soaking up a moment where you just slay an audience, remember that. Hold on to that. And know that you deserve it. If you are at a picnic, God bless you. But if you're at a picnic and you're with your family and your friends and the dogs and the animals and the food and the laughter, be there. Be there. And know that you deserve it. Know that those around you deserve it. If you had a John Williams concert and you've been gifted tickets, and yeah, it's a little crowded, you got some stranger nudging you, you got people kind of talking around you. You don't have easy bathroom access. Doesn't matter. You're there. And you can remember that moment. I think when you're locked away and you're too outside of yourself looking down. And you get too, I don't know, stoic's not even the word. I don't know the philosophy behind it. But I think if you're in that situation, John Williams of the Hollywood Bowl, even if you've seen him 3 times, and you're not enjoying it, but the only reason you're not enjoying it is you're too in your head about trying to enjoy it. You're not in the moment. You're not in tune with yourself. You're not understanding that you do deserve this or that you are experiencing it. And you might never experience it again. You might experience it 15 times, but you'll experience it in 15 different ways. As you get older, you don't want to go out as much. I haven't seen a baseball game in 5-6 years. I sometimes miss that. That's not jaded. That's just things change. And maybe that's it too. Maybe you do get to go experience something, and it isn't bringing you the joy that it used to. And I think you have to be in tune with yourself enough to know that that's not you being jaded. That's you thinking, maybe I'm in a different phase of my life. Maybe this doesn't bring me the fulfillment that it used to. And that is okay as well, because that could lead to other kind of changes and new kind of joys and new kind of moments to experience. I was moved by John Williams again. Hopefully I'm fortunate and will be fortunate enough to see him again sometime. But I'm also fortunate enough to realize now, to be aware of what other people don't have, be aware of what other people aren't getting to experience as compared to what I'm getting to experience. But know that I am also there because I deserve it. I'm there because I'm a human being who deserves good things, and so do you. And then that could all lead to the joy of being in the moment and remembering the moment as it is forever. As long as it's not as a picnic. That's the Blathering. See ya.